As he walked in, it was as if he knew what was coming right before the judge denied him bond. Lil Durk was trembling. His famous lawyer, who 50 Cent and fans believe would get him out of jail, argued for a $3 million bond. However, it was a harsh no from the judge and the rapper was sent back to protective custody. Prosecutors say that Lil Durk has a series of murders tied to his neck, leaving fans to wonder if Durk will ever be free. Lil Durk's $3 million bond denied. Lil Durk has been held in custody since his arrest back in October, and he will not be a free man anytime soon following recent developments in his legal battles. During a December 12, 2024 hearing in a federal courtroom in downtown Los Angeles, his attorneys got their first chance to attack the murder for hire charges brought against Lil Durk and also propose a motion for his release. Unfortunately for Durk, the request was denied by U.S. Magistrate Judge Patricia Donahue after listening to arguments from both the prosecution and defense. Durk's legal team, which included lawyers Drew Fining and Jonathan Brayman, opened their arguments by describing the rapper as a gifted artist, businessman, and philanthropist with a wife, 8 children, close parents, and deep ties to his community. They then proceeded to offer a bail package that included $1 million in cash to be paid by the rapper label Sony Music, as well as $2.3 million equity on 2 properties. The bail package also proposed electronic monitoring of the rapper, around-the-clock security at a secure property, and the surrender of all electronic devices belonging to Durk. However, prosecutors fought any release, highlighting that the rapper is not only a flight risk but also a danger to the community. They cited how the rapper attempted to flee the country just before his arrest, while noting that their indictment contained enough evidence to warrant his continued detention. In a decision that came as no surprise to most people, the judge sided with the prosecution, stating in her ruling that based on all of the evidence, I find that there is no condition or combination of conditions that will reasonably assure the safety of the community. Judge Donahue continued, the allegations are not that the defendant personally pulled the trigger. The allegations are that the defendant exercises a significant amount of control over others. Durk was subsequently remanded back into federal custody after the afternoon hearing, which had in attendance members of the rapper's family, including his wife, father, mother, brother, and more than a dozen of his supporters. Durk will now be spending the holiday season in jail, as his next appearance in court has been set for January 7, 2025, when his trial will commence. However, it is very likely that his trial date is postponed to a later date. Despite the unfavorable outcome of the hearing, Durk's legal team maintained their optimism while expressing a willingness to continue the fight. Shortly after the hearing, Brayman told Rolling Stone, "He's resilient, he's strong, we'll get the discovery and we'll continue the fight." Inside the courtroom, Brayman did a better job of describing his client's resilience when he gave the judge details about how Lil Durk battled through his troubled childhood before finding music as an escape and using it to take his family out of the hood. Brayman also said that his client denies giving orders to a group of men to find and kill rival rapper Quando Rondo, whose legal name is Tawan Terrell Bowman. According to prosecutors, Durk put a bounty on Quando Rondo's head as revenge for the death of his childhood friend, rapper King Bob. The indictment claimed that Durk paid for several men to travel from Chicago to Los Angeles, where they tracked Rondo for several hours before opening fire on him at a gas station near the Beverly Center Mall in August 2022. Rondo somehow survived the gunfire, but his cousin Saba Robinson, also known as LPAB, was hit several times and died from his injuries. Furthermore, the INDM also alleged that Durk sought to commercialize the shooting by rapping about his revenge on Quando Rondo. The indictment references Babyface Ray and Lil Durk's 2022 song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, saying it explicitly references audio from a news clip taken shortly after Robinson's murder, where Bowman screamed "No, no" after seeing Robinson's dead body when it was time for Durk's high-powered attorney Drew Fining to address the court. He criticized the government's decision to use Durk's lyrics as evidence, claiming it was a complete miscarriage of facts. Finnell, who has represented several high-profile figures including NBA YoungBoy President Donald Trump and Cardi B, decribbed the strategy as a smoking gun and argued that the song was recorded months before the shooting, while backing up his claims with a sworn declaration from the song's producer. Fining said that song was recorded approximately 8 months before that incident took place. "We have all the timestamps from the producer. This took place not in August 2022 when the shooting took place. This music was produced, these lyrics performed by my client at approximately 7 months before, in January of 2022. Fining also debunked the FBI claims that Durk was trying to flee the country when he was arrested with luggage near a Miami airport back in October. This was coincidentally the same day law enforcement authorities began arresting his alleged co-conspirators in the murder-for-hire case. According to an affidavit previously written by an FBI agent, Durk had booked 2 separate one-way flights to Switzerland and Dubai on that day but never got on any of them. He was later arrested while trying to board a private jet to Italy. However, Finland claimed that the mix-up came about as a result of Durk booking several flights, all in the aim of getting him to the United Arab Emirates, a destination which he regularly visited for work and religious purposes. Fining further explained that when his client realized that he could only get economy for the trip with multiple stops, he opted to book a private jet instead. Durk was set to make a stop in Italy, then immediately proceed to the UAE. Fining concluded by arguing that prosecutors had not been able to pinpoint anything that Durk did that warrants a criminal charge. Despite the strong arguments presented by Fining, the prosecution continued to argue against Durk's release even on home confinement and electronic monitoring. While strongly opposing Durk's bond terms, Assistant U.S. Attorney Ian Yannell painted a clear picture of the threat posed by Durk. He told the court, as the allegations in this case make abundantly clear, Mr. Banks wasn't on the street pulling the trigger. He was the one who allegedly orchestrated the murder for hire. He was giving the green light to book the flights, as one of his associates was booking the flights for 5 co-conspirators to fly to Los Angeles to commit this murder. Mr. Banks sends a text message saying not to put his name on those flights. Meanwhile, the past week has also produced updates from the ongoing murder for hire case against one of the men arrested for allegedly plotting to kill Quando Rondo. The latest news arrived on Tuesday, December 3, 2024, after attorneys for Kayvon Grant, one of the 5 associates of Durk's Only the Family crew charged in the shocking case, filed a motion seeking protective order for their client. The motion cited fears that the release of sensitive materials during in the case could expose witnesses to grave danger. These materials include statements from protected witnesses, crime scene photos, and autopsy reports. While granting the protective order on December 4, Judge Michael Fitzgerald stated a protective order for the discovery is necessary so that the government can produce to the defense materials regarding protected witnesses who participated in the government's investigation, who may testify at trial and or whose safety may be endangered by disclosure of identifying information. Fitzgerald further emphasized that the protective order became a necessity because these materials could be used to identify the protected witnesses, which would expose them to intimidation and other safety risks. Following Judge Fitzgerald's response to the motion, the defense and prosecution agreed to censor all sensitive material and not allow anyone from outside the case have access to such information. As Lil Durk trial draws ever closer, fresh allegations have surfaced against Durk that may further complicate his fight for freedom. Lil Durk linked to 2022 killing. Newly unsealed court documents have linked Chicago rapper Lil Durk to the fatal 2022 shooting of an alleged gang leader outside a community center on Chicago's far south side. Although the warrant application was filed in April 2023 by FBI Special Agent Thomas Callahan, it was unsealed ahead of Durk's detention hearing for his murder for hire case. According to the newly unsealed filing, Durk was behind the January 27, 2022 fatal shooting of 24-year-old Stephen Mack. The alleged gang leader was ambushed by gunmen as he exited the Youth Peace Center of Roseanne on West 111th Street. According to the FBI report, Mack was the leader of the Smashville faction of the Gangster Disciples at the time, and his death was in connection to the murder of Lil Durk's brother Dante Banks, who was gunned down outside a nightclub in South suburban Harvey in 20121. The newly unsealed documents revealed that the murder of Durk's brother was carried out by another Gangster Disciples faction with ties to Smashville. Just like in the case of King Bob, the killing of Durk's brother set the rapper on a path for revenge, and Special Agent Callahan noted in his 2023 affidavit that Lil Durk was and still is offering money for people to kill those responsible for his brother's murder, and more specifically offering to pay money for any gangster disciple that is killed. Although Durk has not been charged in the Chicago investigation, law enforcement sources confirmed that the investigation